Hello and welcome everybody to the very first video of the Coastal Football League. We got BMS versus Satan's Helpers. I'm Justin. This is my co-host Chris. We have no idea what we're doing whatsoever, so please bear with us.
Not at all.
But yeah, so here's some highlights from the first game. What was your opinion on some of the opening day performances that we saw?
A lot of ups and downs, for sure. But I think overall it turned out to be a really good day. Pitchers started realizing later, as the games progressed, to kind of slow down the speeds a little bit, create a lot more hitting, and a lot more fun games for sure.
Yeah, it's not like throwing a baseball. It's definitely
not at all.
Definitely different. BMS had a pretty good showing going into opening day. Not really expecting much out of anybody. They ended up taking 3 from Satan's Helpers, winning all 3 games. But we didn't see any bad play from Satan's Helpers side. We just saw a lot of good play from BMS. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I think the scores weren't quite as indicative as what the games were actually, how they played out. I think there was a lot of hitting in this particular series, a lot more than the other 2 series that we saw throughout the day. And I think that was, again, most of the pitchers just kind of slowing down, trying to throw strikes, not really worried about what the ball is going to do, just kind of putting it in play and let the defense work.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one. I think one of the first things we noticed was the pitchers were really struggling to hit the strike zone to start, and that goes for every single team. So Game 1 was the final score of 8-3. BMS won Game 2 and Game 3, 9-0 and 7-4. Now our second game of the series was Irish Spring versus Scared Hitless. This game we had a lot of rain that afternoon, and it was just a lot of problems with cameras and editing and a lot of off and on stuff. So we have very little footage of this, as you'll see. Scared Hitless won Game 1 1-8, Game 2 8-6, and Game 3 was postponed due to the rain. Coming into our game of the week, we had God Squad versus Shell Shock. And this is our first game of the week. So this is the most footage we have of any series from opening day, and this turned out to be a pretty good one. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a good series, and it was really evenly matched throughout all 3 games.
As you can see there, Colin Roberts was on fire in the bottom of the first. I think Chris, yourself, you pitched beautifully, and both guys had no hitters after the first 3 innings of work.
Yeah, definitely
another strikeout. Gotta love Coach Andy. Going into the bottom of the second now, Colin Roberts was just dealing today. It was very apparent, pretty much straight from the get-go. Of all the pitchers, he was the only guy that was able to start hot. I get your opinions on that. You faced him more than I did, so
yeah, he was throwing gas all day. He was really sticking with one pitch over and over, but he was putting it in different locations, and just the speed, it was very difficult to hit.
I mean, you yourself though, like as we can see, we're pitching very well. There's a little cheap little base hit by Mark. But you yourself, like, I mean, that's just a nasty slider on the outside part of the plate. He has no chance of touching that. Bottom of the third now, still no runs have been scored. Ernie just bat flipped on a walk. So no runs have been scored. Colin's still striking people out, despite the few walks that he did have. There's another one right there. And this was another big portion of the game. This is bottom of the third, 2 on, and he was able to get out of it with a strikeout, sending it to the extra innings, top of the fourth. The very first game goes into extra innings. Mark with a really clutch hit here with runners in scoring position. Wasn't able to get any runs scored. The ball came in quickly. And Colin came up to bat here in this next at bat. Threw a good pitch, and he was able to put a little bit of the bat on the ball. Tell me a little bit about what happened on this play.
Yeah, so I kind of panicked a little bit. I knew I had the out. I had the chance for a double play, and I just missed the throw. I was trying to peg him at second. The ball ended up going way out into the outfield off the fence, and just kind of trickled around from there. Did get that out.
So God Squad's up 1-0, and then Michael Rabinowitz with a really, really strong hit. Ernie kind of takes a tumble out there in right field.
Absolute nosedive is what that was.
I'd have to agree. You thought you had him, but we went back and looked at the footage, and he was safe. But that did give him a 3-0 lead, and you got Mark on the strikeout on the next at bat, but that was enough to give them momentum going into the bottom of the fourth. Colin once again just absolutely dicing people up. It was just clear that he was on his A game as a pitcher, and there was really nothing anybody could do to stop him. Thoughts?
Yeah, he was just on it. He was on it the whole day. Never really lost it. Didn't get tired. I guess this is a good time to mention the innings. We are running 6-inning limit per day, excluding extra innings. So if you do pitch in the extras, it doesn't affect your inning.
So God Squad ended up taking game 1 3-0, and Colin Roberts actually throws 12 strikeouts in 4 innings, strikes out every out, and throws a no-hitter in game 1. Going into game number 2, we kind of missed the footage from the top of the first. But we got the footage starting in the bottom of the first. Ethan kind of struggled a little bit on the mound to start, as did most pitchers. Any thoughts about trying to pull him early or trying to let him work out of it?
Yeah, I wanted to let him work a little bit. I knew he was nervous going into it. He had good action in practice, knew that he was capable of throwing it, just missing the zone a little bit, and then just kind of gets a little anxious out there. Runners on base make you do some crazy things.
Yeah, you put yourself in right here, and Mark just absolutely hits a line shot over the left field fence. First grand slam of the year. So the first series, in game number 1, we have a home run. And then in game number 2, we have a grand slam, which actually gives us our first inning run rule limit. It happens in the bottom of the first inning, which is 6 runs per inning, excluding the third inning. Correction on that last statement, actually, it was a no-hitter in game number 1. Ethan actually made it safe there. Mark actually was not able to get a foot on the base before Ethan was able to sneak his toe in. Good effort, still couldn't get the out. Here we have Braden Mallory. He showed signs of being a really, really good pitcher, although he did struggle a little bit in game number 2 here. Let's see. Yeah, he walked. Mark put himself back out on the mound, and he walked in the first run for himself of that inning. This was a totally different game from game 1. Game 1 was a pitcher's duel, a lot of strikeouts, a lot of swings and misses, missed bats. Game number 2 was a lot of walks and a lot more runs scored. Another shot by Colin. Both teams hit the ball pretty well, as you can see here. Like even on little random plays like this, where coach tried to let it go foul, but both teams hit the ball well, and especially starting in game 2. I think everybody started getting more comfortable up at the plate. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, definitely. Start seeing the ball a little bit better. Learn what the ball is going to do. It's a very different thing to see a ball coming right at you, knowing that it's going to end up being a strike. Especially when you start lobbing it and it catches that top of the zone. It's real frustrating, so you just got to start free swinging up there.
Yeah, so going into the bottom of the third now, so you guys were up coming in the bottom of the third, although they did get runners on base and did threaten a little bit, as just dropping dimes right on the corner. Looked like that one was going to go a lot further off the bat, but that was a good play by yourself out in left field, and then another good play here to end the game. And that ended up finishing the game as Shell Shock wins game 2, 9-7. And Shell Shock was also the home team of the series. So the second game, they were actually the away team. Coming into the third game, they're back to being the home team. So the way that works would be, if you were the home team for the series, your first game, you're home, second game away, third game home. So going into the rubber match of the series, both teams are, at this point, felt each other out, know what to expect, know what's going on from each other. This is a little bit of a back and forth game. Colin hit a 2-run home run, and it was his first home run of the year. That actually took a 2-0 lead for God Squad. Now, we do have a pretty short field, so we were expecting a lot of home runs, though we didn't quite see that many in week 1 on opening day, mainly due to the fact of the winds blowing straight in. So that's also part of the reason why we do have a short field. It's only about 70 feet or so down the lines, and about 90 feet or so in dead center. So smaller field size for a wiffle ball field, but at the same time, we're about 15 miles off the coast of Galveston, and we get a lot of strong winds, and it's typically blowing in of the orientation of the field. How big of a factor do you think the wind's going to play throughout the season, especially, but in game to game as well?
I think it's going to affect both the hitting and the pitching. The wind really makes the wiffle balls do some really weird stuff. And as far as hitting, obviously, on this day, wind was blowing straight in towards the batter, making it really difficult to get those balls out of the ballpark. I think moving forward, we're going to have a lot more success than that. Just varies day to day.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to see from this angle, but Ethan actually just robbed a home run. He didn't make the catch, but he did rob the home run. And I intentionally left this edited in here. We had a lot of camera fallouts just falling off the GoPro because the pitchers do not know how to throw at the strike zone. With the 6 inning per limit per day rule that we do have with the pitchers, we see a lot of pitchers coming in and out, as there is unlimited substitutions as long as you have all 5 of your guys in the lineup. So we see a lot of pitchers throwing 1 inning or 2 innings at a time, and then coming out and then going back in later in the game. I feel like that's going to play a really big factor, especially later in the season when we get closer towards the playoffs. And it really matters on wins and losses. You come down, so there's few games for seeding. As we do have 6 teams in the league, only 5 of them will make the playoffs. So we are going to leave out just a little bit. So seeding is definitely going to be important come end of the season. You want to have that bye week at the number 1 seed and not have to play. So here we are in the top of the 3rd now. Score is still 2-0 God Squad. Tried to make the play there. I believe he was safe in that particular occasion. He did make a good stop there for the 3rd out, going into the bottom of the 3rd. Score still is 2-0 for God Squad. And there's a hit by pitch. That was the 2nd one of the at-bat. Therefore, he gets the base. There's another walk. And then our camera died. We ended up having a walk-off walk with a final score of 3-2 for Shell Shock. Good series, good day. I think we can all enjoy the way opening day came out.
Absolutely. Great experience, and definitely can't wait for the next series.
So thank you guys all for watching. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Y'all take care.